Good morning, everybody. So I was reading the post, and I thought, there's no way I'm going to be able to type my response about Taxi. So I'm just gonna say it. I don't. Taxi is definitely not for everybody, but I do believe it's a legitimate business, and I've been participating in Taxi. I think I probably started in like 2000, somewhere in the middle. I went to a Taxi rally, and sorry, there's construction happening outside. I went to a rally, which is it's kind of their big event, and it was super overwhelming. I mean, I learned a lot about the music business, but I was completely overwhelmed by the amount of information. And that was maybe 2005, 2006, something like that. Then I returned. So then I discover FAWM in 2008 and realize that, holy cow, I can write 20, I can write 14 songs in 28 days. And I wrote more than that. And that was like a huge awakening for me, realizing that I could write music. And then my next thought was, because I'd been in bands and we'd released albums and they sounded great, but we had a producer, we had an engineer, I had great other musicians. My drummer was an excellent producer, engineer in his own right, and had produced, our last record. So I was kind of wondering, can I do that? So in 2008, I decided, I was going to do February Album Writing Month, and I succeeded. And then I started experimenting with. I got Pro Tools and I started recording. I wanted to see, could I create something that sounded as good, as professional as stuff that I was hearing that I liked. And I see some of the arguments, people talking about, Taxi ruins your creativity, or it's just copying popular artists. I guess there's some truth to that, but I'd like to say that one of my favorite artists of all time, because I grew up with them, is U2. And one of the lines in one of Bono's songs is, he's probably stealing this from something else, which is ironic, or not ironic. Every artist is a cannibal. Every poet is a thief. We are all stealing and borrowing from things we've heard. We are all influenced by things we've heard. There is no one that lives in a complete artistic vacuum. I wouldn't have known to pick up a guitar if it hadn't have been for U2 or the Replacement, like hadn't seen or heard someone playing a guitar or playing three chords that just sounded so great. So Taxi does have listings, and they say, we are looking for a song in the style of, okay, I'll throw one out, Imagine Dragons' Radioactive. So when Radioactive was really big, lots of companies would like access to a song that had that vibe. Now, I think maybe in the 90s there was a lot more, we want an exact sound-alike, and what happened was that people that were doing these exact sound-alikes got sued. There was lawsuits because they were literally taking, Coldplay's song or U2's song and making their own recording of it, and then they were, advertising with it and promoting a product that this band didn't necessarily endorse. Now, and they weren't benefiting monetarily, but the product was benefiting, and it. So now they encourage you to create a song that would be on the same radio station. For me, I love it. I love having a target to shoot for. Maybe that's just being a guy. I don't know. I think everyone likes to have a goal or an objective. I'm an artist too. I've recorded tons of albums of different kinds of music. I love FAWM just for that I can just create something that is whatever I want, about anything that I want, ridiculous or not. So now Taxi comes in. I wanted to see if I could do music on a more professional level, if I could feel like I could call myself a music professional. And Taxi really gave me an opportunity to do that. And here's what I got. I'll say one of the things that I got out of Taxi. For example, I wrote a song. So one of the songs they were looking for when I started Taxi was a song by Phoenix. I don't even remember. I feel like it had a year in it. Like, it was the title of a year or something. It was a really cool song. I wrote a song inspired by the structure of that song and some of the sounds in that song. It was totally not that song. I mean, it definitely wasn't like a sound-alike. It was filtered through me. And I created something that I'm very proud of, that got used a lot. Although it didn't get used for the Taxi listing that I pitched it for, it did get used in a whole bunch of other things because of the Taxi listing. I never would have created it without the Taxi listing. You can do this whole thing without being a member of Taxi, but what Taxi gave me was professional advice, professional contact. So I have a lot of friends who are professional musicians. I have friends that are in bands that are professional musicians who that's what they do for a living. That kind of came before I was in Taxi. And then in Taxi, I'm with other musicians who are, some of them are artists, some of them are, they literally, they record music for film and television. That's what they do. And so, but I don't see it as derivative at all. Like, I can be fully creative. Now, if you are just creating music for art's sake, and I mean, look, even Radiohead, they sell albums, they do shows, they make money. Are they super creative? Are they making stuff that's commercially appealing? You know, I don't know. Some of it is, some of it's not at all. You know, some of it just wouldn't play on top 20 radio. Does that mean it's not good? No. And they fill a certain niche that no one else can. So I don't know. I've loved Taxi. It has been a great experience, man. I mean, it has made me feel like that I can say I am a professional musician, among other things that I do. And I don't make my full-time living being a professional musician, but I can say with pride that I am a professional. And I do believe that came from my interaction with, and I'll say it like this, FAWM gave me the confidence that I could do the output, and Taxi gave me a lot of the tools to be a professional. And that is, and I'll tell you what, it really helps if you have your ability to record things quickly. It does not work if let's say I recorded an album in 2005, then I go to Taxi and I try to pitch those songs to current Taxi listings. You will be very frustrated. I did that with my band Push Start Wagon, and we tried so hard to get these songs shoehorned in to listings that were coming out, and they would just get rejected all the time. And it was a great album. It was a really good recording. Push Start Wagon, LA was our Alamo. Check it out. And Squeaky Clean. Those are albums, but they are they're not modern. They're not current enough. So the other thing I love about Taxi is that I get to listen to a lot of really cool new music that I wouldn't have found because people are looking for it. And so it exposes me to new production techniques and new sounds, new artists. It's invigorating to me. I have not got a ton of direct placements from Taxi where I pitched to it. Let's say Taxi sent out a listing. We need Radioactive song by Imagine Dragons. I send my song in, and all of a sudden I get a phone call and $10,000 check. That really hasn't happened for me. I've gotten a few placements through Taxi. I would say more of Taxi's value to me has come through the friends I've made in Taxi, just like the friends I've got in FAWM, lifelong friends. And I've made some amazing friends in fact, I feel like Taxi, I feel like FAWM prepared me for Taxi. It was kind of like the community was super supportive, super open. It didn't feel like people were trying to push other people down so they could go up, which is pretty rare in entertainment or music in general. I believe a lot of that has to do with the head of Taxi, Michael. I think he's a very genuine person. I've met him, so I've had meals with him like this, close, just sitting and talking, and he has strong opinions about things in the music industry, and we don't always agree on everything, and I don't have to agree on everything. But with all the flaws, and I know there's a perception of Taxi as being like some sort of scam. I really do not believe that to be true. And I know a lot of very intelligent musicians who have worked with Taxi, and I think it's what you put into it. I believe you cannot. It is not a quick process. You are not going to go join 1 year and boom, you're going to hit stuff. If you're learning your instrument, it's going to take you some time to like get some feedback and some critique to see what you're doing wrong. But if you stick with it, I do believe that it will generate for you. For me, I had some money coming in from ASCAP from when I was in my band Push Start Wagon. And we had like 1 or 2 songs that were placed on an MTV show, and so we got some royalty checks from that. But now I have a steady revenue stream from ASCAP for songs that I've placed on different, reality TV shows and whatever, nothing major. But I have steady money that pays for my music equipment, that pays for any, updates I need to make to my software. It's pretty cool. Like, it's paying for itself. And pays for me to go for my Taxi and my ASCAP membership. It pays for the weekend that I go to the rally, and it pays for food and the hotel. Like, it pays for all of that. Plus, I have money left over. So I'm biased. I'm obviously biased in favor of Taxi, but I believe in the organization and the people that are in Taxi. So all that said, if you want to go the Sufjan Stevens, Radiohead, Imogen Heap route, they're still making money. And I know some people are opposed because they feel like they're selling themselves out. Those artists are trying to make a living, so they need to do things to earn money, and they've signed contracts, and their song goes out, and their songs are used in some different media. So it's complicated. It's complicated, but I'm giving 2 thumbs ups to Taxi, and just to say that I think they're just a great. Just a really great organization, and I would highly recommend it, especially if you are looking to do music professionally, especially for film and television. Especially, they do have an artist track also. So if you are wanting to be an artist, but probably more, I would say, much more in the top 40 artist side of things. Although they got all kinds of stuff. They've broken artists. Not broken. That doesn't sound like the right word. Like they've discovered the artist and pushed them and made it like Jars of Clay in the late mid-90s. They totally broke them. There's a guy, his name's Paul Otten and Helen Austin, who they kind of put them together at one of the rallies, and they've got a group called Big Little Lions, and they're excellent, amazing songwriters who, like, I'm honored to like even be in the room with them. So yeah, and I'm honored to be in the room with all the people at FAWM too, man. It's great. I always felt FAWM was so cool because it didn't matter if you just picked up a guitar like that month before, or you never picked up a guitar and you were just writing lyrics, or you rap, or you do speed metal, or like, it was so cool. So Taxi and FAWM can be friends. They're my favorite worlds. They're my favorite music. My favorite music worlds. So there's my long rant that you probably won't even get to the end of, about Taxi and FAWM and why I think Taxi is pretty cool. All right, see you guys later.